this evening. Patriot Dave here. We got the famous Janine on the other end. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Dave.
Awesome.
Really good. Yeah.
So I just kind of wrote some stuff down. I do a lot of my stuff spontaneously. I guess you do too.
Yeah,
Um,
I do.
so I guess we can start with the ship that's in the canal first. There was a question we had about the Mercy that came out of there 2 days ago.
Hmm.
So I wonder if you want to start there. We're kind of curious what the cards see as far as the cargo inside that Mercy ship.
Okay, so the Mercy ship was another one.
It came out of the canal 2 days ago.
Okay. And they
Yes,
were
ma'am.
keeping an eye on it, were they?
Yes, they was. And when I seen that information, I'm like, oh, now somebody else said that thing was in California and it didn't leave. Yeah, it was definitely coming out of the canal. It got pulled out by a barge.
Interesting. So the Mercy is the hospital ship, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And
So
I guess
I did a reading on that a while back, and what I got was they were sending it, and then a whole bunch of people wrote me and said no, it hadn't left. But that turns out to be false, it sounds like.
well, I think what they do to us, I think they show it docked there, through their software.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll see military planes and ships that uh, they don't have to turn their call signs on. They don't have to.
Yeah.
So, and I said the same thing as you. Everybody's like, "Oh, that ship didn't leave California." Well, I got a picture of it being pulled out of the canal.
It definitely left, and it was absolutely there.
Of
It
course
was
it was, right?
absolutely there. Yeah, and it was all like everything around it was hidden.
Yes,
So they
ma'am.
were they were cloaking, right? Like you said, it maybe didn't turn on its signals, or it turned on a signal, a false signal one place, but it was actually somewhere else. I'm sure they can do that, right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's actually definitely got children on it.
Like, I guess we wouldn't know how many, but we can assume a bunch.
Well, a lot of them didn't make it, is what I'm getting, unfortunately.
I heard
A
that
lot of
too.
them are, yeah, in some bad shape, but they got about half of the kids that were found made it, which
Well,
is
and
very
and it's funny
unfortunate.
you say that too, because we had about 1,400 that survived, and we had 1,000 that didn't. So
Wow.
you're right in that ballpark,
Wow.
and
That's
that was
unfortunate.
very credible information. Unfortunately, you don't want to hear that, but
Yeah, no, you don't.
very sad. That's cool.
Yeah,
So I mean, that matched exactly what we was thinking.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So
Yeah.
does it show us anything else like where it's at now? I think it went back to California or something. I'm not sure.
Let's see if it's headed back to the US.
Sure.
Four and nine. Hmm. Hmm. I think they're taking it somewhere else. They're dropping these kids somewhere.
And I kind of seen where that was, but I can't remember.
That's
Hmm,
a healing place, so to be healed.
interesting.
So obviously those people are going to need, and children and adults, whoever they have there, but a lot of kids, it looks like. I feel like they're going to need a lot of TLC,
Yeah.
right? Like
And
both, psychologically and physically.
I don't think the effect of all this, people really don't understand how bad it really is.
Oh yeah,
It's every bit of what we're talking about and worse.
horrifying. Yeah,
Yeah. So that was it on that. That's a lot of good news there, actually. At least we know they're being taken care of. So
yeah,
I had no doubt, though. It's just good to confirm it for sure.
yeah.
So on the next things, DC was flooding, and I don't know if you did a reading on that yet, but
No, I haven't.
water was actually coming out of the sewers yesterday. And so somebody said, somebody very credible said about a week ago, he doesn't give a crap if they flood the tunnels and that them tunnels go 200 miles away, which they do. he doesn't care if it floods all 200. Then lo and behold, now we got water coming out of the sewer drains. So that's very weird.
That is weird. Let's have a look. So you figure they were signaling that they were doing it on purpose, obviously?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a look.
And it was 107 just because that's where I heard the information. So
Yeah.
why not throw his name out there? He's a very good fella.
Yep. Yep.
I try not to use names too much because somebody's always saying somebody's bad and all this. When I see that,
Oh, yeah.
when I see
There's
that
a
stuff,
lot of misinformation, hey?
absolutely on purpose. And
Yeah.
I don't think we should be talking bad about anybody. I think we should just, if you don't want to listen to a certain person, don't watch their videos and watch somebody else.
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah, I agree. And 107's given us some really good drops.
Yes.
And you know, and people say, well, he hasn't been right on time. Well, guess what? He kind of has actually in his own way, because everything isn't always on the surface. You know what I mean?
I know, and
Things are going on.
that's what people don't understand. But I really think the people that are somewhat awake, I
Yeah.
think they finally get it that
Yeah.
this has went on for thousands of years.
Yeah.
To undo this tangling that we're this web that we were in, it's
Yeah.
not going to happen in a week's time, unfortunately. I wished it would.
Yeah, exactly. So they were absolutely some kind of military group of some kind, because this card's my military card, or can be.
Okay.
Had something to do with water in the tunnels. So that sounds like flooding.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's because something was so dreary there. They just had to, I guess, cleanse it out, you know.
I think you're right. That's part of it. And I don't think they wanted to risk any more soldiers' lives going down in there because maybe there was still some beans in there that we don't want up here. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you gave a good explanation of it, though.
I get some scariness down there because this card's about mysteries and fears and
Wow.
the fears of something. It can be very well, it has a lot to do with death.
Wow. Interesting.
So, yeah, it's my passing over card. So I feel like there might have been a lot of bodies of various kinds, unfortunately, down there.
And maybe not even the ones that we want up here. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So I guess that was their way of kind of dealing with it, maybe.
Yeah, that fit right inside with what I had heard. So that's amazing. Of course you did, right?
Awesome.
Or the spirit did, I should say.
Yeah, spirit worlds. Definitely on the side of the Patriots, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's it is going very well, and people just have to they don't when you start thinking fear and all of this stuff, it takes your spirit and just brings your level so low. That's what they want.
Exactly.
I'm not scared of any of them. I don't really care.
Yeah, me neither. No way.
I'm not scared of any of them. Yeah, I'm more scared of myself than I am of them. So okay, I guess we'd go ahead and let's do the one on Castro real quick. He's stepping down. Colombia or Castro, the president of Cuba.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. As of today, I don't know when it's going to be over with, but I have a feeling he was forced out. But we'll let you see what you think.
And is that his last name? Because I thought that guy was passed over a long time ago. Is this a relative of Fidel Castro's?
It just, that's all I got on it was that he's stepping down. So maybe I misread something there.
I wonder if it's a relative of his, or
it might be.
Because what I got, that was actual Justin Trudeau's dad.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
And I was pretty sure he passed over, but this could be a relative of his.
We can look. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess people in your comments will correct us on that. I always depend on them to do that for me because I don't really research. But tarot card readers have a good excuse because the less we know, the more pure the information comes through. So
True.
if our brain gets too involved, we start thinking, and we're not here to do that. We're actually here to channel
Right.
a bigger sort of energy we get out of the way and it comes through, and that's the idea.
Well, and I should have researched it more, but I just seen it like 10 minutes before we got online.
Well, let's just see what's happening in the government in
Sure.
Cuba, because that's interesting. Because Guantanamo Bay is in Cuba.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, there's a
Okay.
lot of factors there.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. So there does seem to be some kind of a big issue between likely parties, I would think, because there's a whole lot of anger, and this feels like almost like people going behind each other's back, a lot of backstabbing and inner fighting, maybe even within his own party, whoever's the leader. I feel like that leader is in some kind of really big trouble, and it's more internal, like people got a bunch of things on that guy, and I feel like all his dark deeds are going to come out. So this is likely happening all over the world.
I agree with you. Yeah. It's and a
Yeah,
lot of it's like blackmail too.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
If you don't do what we say, we're going to tell everybody you're this or that.
exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, I get he's going into hiding,
Awesome.
or maybe already has.
Yes. I don't know
Yeah.
what happened there. Give me 1 second. I apologize. I'm going to pause this just for a second.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Okay, so next I had some that tied into 45, and I know you've done a bunch on 45. One thing was Baron. So
Oh yeah.
I know you've done a couple, but everybody's saying that they don't believe Melania is the mother. They think it might be Princess Diana, and I just thought, well, let's do a reading on this and just see what happens.
Okay, let's look at Melania being the mother of Baron first. We'll start there because I've never
Perfect.
looked at that actually.
Oh, awesome.
I always got several times I've looked at the relationship between Melania and 45, and I always got that it was sort of an arrangement.
That's
And
my gut feeling says the same thing.
right, yeah, and I got that sort of the contract is up, but they're amicable. But it felt like it was a contract, so that was interesting. And I got they would likely divorce,
Right.
even if it was in private and on the down low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not getting Melania as the mother of Baron, so that'll be a big shock to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm getting that Trump's the father, but Melania's not the mother.
Interesting.
The mother is a powerful woman. She comes as the strength card. She's mature. She might have had a Baron fair a little later in life. So not like in her, 20s or 30s even. She might have been more in her 40s or early 40s. And it's possible because I had my son at 43. So
Wow.
it happens. Yep.
If that card would have been like a queen, I would have really
Yeah, that's a riot. Well, now I said, well, give us more. So we got a queen, the Queen of Cups, which is exactly always Princess Diana's card. So that's crazy. Why don't we literally ask, is Princess Diana, like, let's just ask.
Sure.
If the universe wants to tell us, it'll tell us.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the Queen of Cups is her card because she's a Cancer.
Gotcha.
Right? So cups are water. So that would be a water sign woman, and but it's also saying whoever she is, she's very gracious. So the mother is gracious. She wasn't a spring chicken mom.
Right.
She was a more mature mom.
Very.
But I mean, Trump's a mature guy. It's not like he's a spring chicken either. So that makes sense. So it's saying that son, this boy, so Baron, very smart boy, by the way, that's a really intelligent boy, is protected and universally. So the mother is hidden. We don't get to know yet.
Right.
But this says it, and this is my 5th month of the year because I asked for, okay, when do we get to know? Timing. So if this was a timing card, I mean, it's a lot of things, but that's May. 5, so it's 5, so May, moving out of troubled water or getting information comes out. Information may be coming out on who the mother is in May. So that's interesting. This is clarity on something, right? Because swords are thoughts and words. And this card moves things out and lets the information come out. So I feel like we might hear about it in May, but for some reason, it doesn't want to spill here.
Well, I almost think she's going to be queen if that's said to be true before that's announced.
Well, I was getting that they were going to exit Queen Elizabeth. I mean, now that they admitted finally that Philip's gone, I mean,
yes,
I'm sure he was gone in at least March of last year. But
I got about 1.5 years, but I mean,
right? Some time ago anyway. And they just decided this was the timing and all the numbers, the release date, interesting, the 9th of April.
I know.
99th day, 99th birthday, just too interesting.
Flip them upside down and
it was all signal.
Yeah.
And even the whole funeral, the way they're already telling us ahead of time, you can tell this is a white hat operation and they're all signaling things.
Yes, ma'am.
Like they're having the queen sit alone with a mask on and her hat. Do you know what I mean? Nobody's going to be able to see who that really is, right? It's just a riot. And trotting out the boys, but they're separating them, and they've even got, they're saying, and I'm pretty sure all of it's just made up. It's like a theatrics, but they're saying that Prince, what's his name, Andrew, wants to wear some uniform that he never earned. So he's some admiral uniform, or I can't remember, but he's not allowed to wear that. But it sounds to me like they're just trying to make a fool out of him because it's so foolish. It seems he's like a spoiled brat, and they're just making the whole public see what a bunch of spoiled brats these people are.
No military uniforms will be there, it said. None.
Yeah, it's just a riot. And he's throwing a tantrum according to the papers because he wanted to wear some uniform, and he never was the uniform he wants to wear. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, it's not even funny to laugh at this stuff, but it's so
ludicrous.
It's just, I don't see how people cannot see what's really going on. I don't understand.
It's cringy.
Ray Charles could see most of the stuff that's going on, and he's blind. I mean, all right. Yeah.
Okay, so where were we? So it doesn't want to tell us yet. Okay.
That's okay. I think we can pretty much read between the lines. I think we hit over a bullseye there for real. So on the 14th or 15th, there was vehicles that flew out of Mar-a-Lago, and it was a big, I guess you'd call it a T train, and they left in a big hurry. So I don't remember if that was the 14th or the 15th, but let's just say in the last 3 days or so,
Yeah.
something was weird because, yeah, something's very weird.
And were you getting that from that fellow that watches the airplanes?
No, we got this from somebody that lives in that area, and
Oh, I see.
they're like, it wasn't a normal road blockage or anything. It was like chaotic.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very scary. I was just kind of curious.
Well, they were all really excited about something.
Oh, that's good.
It was the beginning of some really big operation that all of a sudden they got word was a go.
Awesome.
Something was a go, and they were going. And this is interesting because the sun can sometimes talk about money
Mhm.
systems, possibly gold standard, something to do with
Yeah,
money system change.
we started calling that the rainbow because the rainbow bills, the colorful bills, they're going to be very colorful. I don't know if you knew that or
Oh, I
not.
see. Okay.
The-
No, I didn't.
yeah, they're called the,
Okay,
they're calling them. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, we've got the lovers down below, but because we aren't asking about a relationship, this can talk about governments. It can talk about, because it's a number 6, so then you got to go to the numerology of it. So it's about diplomacy, other countries coming together, shaking hands, some balancing, and it's not always easy. It has something, I don't know why, but I just got the word Russia in my head. So there's something to do with Russian government and Mr. T's bunch
That's
doing
interesting.
some kind of operation together. There's some kind of operation going on, and I just dropped in my head that it had something to do with Russia.
Well, Russia has a lot to do with more than people realize. If they look just at that canal alone,
Yeah,
who was on the other side of the damn canal?
yeah,
Russia.
yeah.
So they can talk about this Ukraine and all this stuff. I don't pay much attention to it. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. Yeah, but I got a feeling that Russia's working really closely with Mr. T is what I'm thinking looking at these cards.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They got word, so they got word suddenly that something was a go that they'd been waiting for, and they were just in a big hurry.
Huh. I guess,
to
is
get
there anything else we can do to go a little further with that, or is that probably all we'd get out of that?
let's see what was a go.
Okay, sure.
Let's ask that, because
We
you
went,
asked what were all the vehicles in such a hurry. Well, cards are funny because they'll
yeah,
just give you exactly what you asked.
I'm not
Okay,
complaining. I think that was awesome.
let's go with okay, what was a go? I mean, it might not want to tell us, but if it does, we'll we'll get it.
Sure.
Sometimes I feel like the powers that be are very protective of the operations. I mean, it makes sense, it makes sense.
Sure.
Even working with clients over the 35 years I worked with clients, sometimes things weren't going to come through for them because it wasn't a good idea for them to know ahead of time. So that was, that's an interest. Okay, so right off the bat, so secret operation to do with military, okay,
Wow.
and aggressors, so aggressive, so warlike, okay, so something going on goes from peace to war, but interesting, it looks like a large amount of it was false. I wonder if that's the appearance. I wonder if they wanted people to notice they were flying out of there, and it's part of they wanted to start, they're trying to start something that's a facade is what I'm getting the picture of, because this card in the background is a facade. They're posing and putting things out there to stir up, I think, maybe to get truthers talking about it, to signal something's being signaled, but the true mission is a secret.
Wow.
So
That's so interesting though.
Yeah, the true mission. And it'll be under the cover of, and we're not going to see it, what's going on.
Of course not, right?
You don't get to see it. Yeah, but something's going on for sure. We've got the three, and oh my goodness. So then I said, okay, just give us a little bit of clarity. So we've got the Three of Swords, and this is my deep state dark cult. If I'm asking a big question like that, that would be that. That card, and Three of Swords. So it has something to do with the finishing off of, or taking down, or maiming or hurting of this bunch.
Wow, like almost like a final nail in the coffin type of thing, maybe.
There's something, maybe we've got a big operation to put these guys down for once and for all. But it seems to be connected to the money system. I mean, there's a lot of arms in, you know, sort of the deep state dark cult, as I call it, because I don't want to see the C word on your channel.
Right.
Or the I word, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of arms on it. And this feels like this is specifically to do with rolling out that money system, or that it's all interconnected somehow.
I mean, you know, we don't like to mention dates, and cards don't necessarily tell you dates either, right? I mean,
no, yeah.
But we know that it's coming.
Thinking, yeah, we're imminent here. We're down to the wire.
Well, I think so too. And there's signs that tell you, you know, like Kansas City, Missouri used to have the Department of Revenue, and you know, they're closed. They've been closed for like a year. So there's so many signs that this is happening.
Oh, I got 3 out of 5 credit cards to 0, and I never paid them.
I heard you say that the other day, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that was weird. And another weird thing. Oh, so when I did cards on, this was card information, but when I did cards on US, should you do your taxes? Now, I'm not a taxes expert, and I'm not a money expert, and I'm doing my cards. So obviously I'm not responsible for if
we are not giving
my cards advice or not.
We are not giving financial advice.
No, we're not. But the card said, if US people like did their taxes, maybe do them and don't you know, pay if you owe yet. Just
that
wait.
Would be a great idea for people.
Off, right? You know what I mean? And the other thing was, it was saying, if you don't do them, they might come after you, but then it all gets dropped. So there's still something functioning that's going to want to grab that money. But I feel like that it didn't look like it actually had any clout behind it. But you might still get some grief if you know what I mean, if you don't do the taxes. But then down the road, that would run out of steam. But then I did it on the Canadians, and it looked like just hold off on that.
Wow.
Because that looked really interesting.
Well, and people don't know it. Well, you know, even for an individual, you can get an extension, which buys you another 3 or 4 months to let this stuff settle down, and then take it from there.
Yeah, maybe some of those tactics might be a good idea this year.
It wouldn't hurt. It's not going to cost you nothing to try it.
Yeah, keep looking, because you don't want to shell it all over to the deep state. You know what I'm saying?
I think we're in very, very good shape. I really do. I really do.
You know it.
Okay. And then the next one was, I know you've done some readings on this, but I think we need a little clarity on the jab. So there was some satellites attached to this going the bad way. Most of them have been taken out, but they have not all been taken out. And then there's supposed to be a computer that is not operational. I think you talked about that the other day. That would, I guess, in a sense, activate the satellites for the bad part of the jab. So I guess you'd say deep state.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so whatever messes with you is on hold until something activates it. So it needs to be activated, okay? And the thing to activate's been largely, but not entirely, taken out or down or whatever, because it's just a dysfunctional card. dysfunction, literally, like it's in bad shape, let's just say. So a lot of their ways of activating it have been dismantled, which is likely why Mr. T is not, he doesn't seem a bit worried about
No,
the job, let's just say, right? Because I mean, what I was getting on that was he knows something we don't know about it, and he knows,
absolutely. Yeah,
that it actually is gonna. And I never get that all those horror stories are gonna come true about it. So, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate that there are some reactions, but don't forget, there's a lot of disinformation on both sides.
that is
Right?
very true. Yeah,
Yeah, the disinformation's going on both sides. It's a war of words and information. And I don't buy a lot of the fear tactics either. So they sound exactly as blown out of proportion as the bad guys stuff.
so even if you see a video of somebody shaking and laying on the floor, that might be a BS video.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not entirely sure, but whenever I do cards on it, it does not look like the, demise machine, I'll say it like that,
Yeah,
that they're saying it is. I've done about 6 readings on it because
I
everybody's
thought you
so
did.
freaked out. Yeah, and it's like it never does. And doing this 35 years, and I know when they keep saying the same thing, just you got to trust it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, like they're pumping fear on both sides. They're trying to make each other look bad. They are going to want an excuse to have, they're going to want you to know why they're having these tribunals. They're going to want you to know why they're taking this extreme approach down the road with these Hollywood people, for instance, the royal family, the politicians that are in it, because they're going to want you to know, so you're going to get the extreme version of what they've been up to eventually. That's what I think.
no, I think you're right. And yeah, although the intent was very bad, then the intent that they were going to use was horrible.
Oh, absolutely. And they're rolling out the intent as if it's real. And that's the part that everybody needs to be aware of. And
Right.
that's what this 16+1 letter of the alphabet kept saying.
Yeah,
It's a movie, trust the plan. And people keep forgetting that. And
yeah,
it's
they
like, well, I
do.
just go back to that.
Yeah,
I just go back to that.
that's I say it all the time too. I'm like, people, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have trouble with China. We don't have trouble with Russia. Please get this out of your head. Now,
Yeah.
is there some, still some CP left? There is. Yeah. You
Yeah.
did a reading on that, didn't you?
Yeah. They took them out though, largely.
Awesome. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of this stuff was done a few years ago. This is what's so weird. And we're just finding out about it.
Wow.
We're just finding out about it. Like that's they're feeling safe enough to even let us in on that much of it. That's what I figure. This stuff's been going on. I always get that, what they call the white hats in the alliance or whatever. That's
Yeah.
been going on for at least 25 years or more.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So they've been plotting and planning just like those other guys. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And well, go ahead.
Okay, this looks like they're 80% to where none of that stuff's going to be working.
That's pretty significant in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm not a doctor, but I'm not getting it. I can tell you that.
Yeah, no. There's no reason to mess with that. Like, you don't want to play Russian roulette with your health. No way.
Why would you? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just kind of looking through. We covered a lot of that, a lot faster than I thought so, right? So I wonder, I'm trying to think here, maybe just a couple open-ended ones here. What about JFK? What about Junior? Yeah, I know you've done a lot on him.
Yeah.
Did you ever do one to see when he's actually going to reveal himself?
Yeah. I kept getting that somebody like him, and a lot of people in the comments were assuming it must be him because it described him perfectly, was going to step out on Mr. T's behalf. So let's see if that's still in the play. Let's see if that's the playbook here. And see if we can get a win on that. I mean, of course, the when probably keeps changing on us.
Yeah.
So there's patient waiting around that. They're keeping them really safe. That's safely watching from a safe distance. See how this guy's up in a tower?
Yeah.
He's overlooking the whole world, but he's not down on the ground, so he's safely watching. So that's what JFK Jr. is doing. He's watching everything from a safe distance, but he's actively involved because it's wands. So he's involved, whether that's spiritually or is that literally, is he channeled through somebody? I don't know, but that's very actively, energetically involved anyway.
Yeah.
And he's very, very much supportive, because it's so really supportive, and even like financial support. So I don't know exactly what I'm talking about there. I wonder that does his family still have a lot of access to money?
I believe so.
Because there's or well, I guess people that knew he was still somehow around would be very few, but likely from really wealth, I would think, including Mr. T himself,
Well,
because there's money around, like support and money around it.
well, I don't know the date of this, but it was probably a couple years ago. 𝐔𝐿𝐴, I'm going to use that name.
Yeah.
She, when he went to go shake her hand, she was in such, I can't even explain the facial expression she had.
Yeah.
It looked like she seen a ghost. And of course, it didn't show him, it showed the back.
Oh, it was that guy that everybody thinks is him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she turned around, and it was very interesting. Huh.
Okay, so it looks like that's something there. I'm thinking the 6th month, maybe, because this is slowly but surely. So they've had all these times they were going to bring them out. And this looks like maybe the next one they're planning might be June, because that's a Gemini type card if we're looking at timing.
Yeah.
It's all about what I'm asking and which cards come up, but that would be like your first air sign, which would be June, which would be very late May or June. So May 21st to June 21st. That's the time of Gemini. So that would be around that time. That's the next plan. But they've had several plans, so that it's a work in progress or a moving target, or
and that's what everybody has to understand, because there's plan after plan after plan after plan.
yeah.
And if you have this plan in place and something happens, then throws it off, of course you're going to change your plans to make it fit what you're trying to accomplish. So
I have a feeling that it has something to do with, they want a certain amount of evidence backing them up on something, or and it has something to do with the tunnels and rescuing the children. Maybe that has to be a certain amount along before they want to roll him out.
Well, and I've always heard that he was going to be the speaker 4:45 when that time was being, because there are some people that hate that man no matter what he does.
Yeah.
And he could
That's
tell
what
you.
I would get every time. He was going to speak on his behalf. Yeah.
And I heard the same thing, and my intuition says the same thing.
Yeah.
He has to have somebody that's going to speak for him to some of these people. However that may be. I don't know. It's very confusing. But, and then did you ever do a reading on what you thought DC would be like maybe in the future? Because we know what it is now. Did you ever do one on that?
Not specifically. Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure I touched base on it one reading, but let's have a look, see what it says. It's going to have a whole new beginning. So a whole new beginning. So start from the beginning again, because this is not That's a page. So pages are the beginning of something. And notice how he's got no trees or foliage in his background. That's because he's on new earth, sort of. So he's in new territory. So it might even be leveled with that card because it's like brand new territory.
Yeah.
So it won't be known as what it was known as. Not for a while though, like it'll sit maybe even all locked down for a while because this card's literally a lockdown card.
Ah,
Like it's
interesting.
like, yeah, it'll
Yeah.
sit while they, figure out what to do with it or how they're going to do it or get the right paperwork in place to be able to do that, right? Because you know that the 45 and gang, they like to do everything above board according to the Constitution. You're not
Yes.
going to just go level it like, because a government that does things illegally or whatever.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to do anything against the law.
No, he's going to wait.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's the idea, it looks like. So it'll be they're already discussing ideas of how to reuse the area, but it's going to be totally a different direction because 2 pages are brand new, something brand new. So the birth of it. So
Yeah.
I think even by this time next year, they could have already put forward what the new plan for it is.
Yeah, that's interesting because I kind of thought they'd turn it into a swamp, which it really already is. But I mean, literally.
Yeah.
I guess
they might even put it out there to get everybody else's idea about what they want to do with it.
I think even the people that's, I guess you'd say, on the other side somewhat, just because they don't know of ignorance. I think once they find out everything that we're saying is true, all this, they're gonna start feeling the same way we do. I mean,
Yeah.
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
Right.
And some of them might even be more angry about it because they were so duped.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So did you ever do a reading to see on the dumbs how many where we was at on that? Did you ever do one on that?
Let's do that. I
Absolutely.
did go country for country on my Sending Ravens channel, and we hit, I don't know, 12 countries maybe. But
Yeah.
of course I missed, there's so many countries. Yeah, of course I missed. But we did sort of the main, and it looked like a lot of, some of them hadn't really had a dent put in, and this was about a month and a half ago.
Oh
And
Lord.
yeah, but some of them were really cleared out already, like Australia, I believe. And London, they hadn't even started. London looks like it's so scary that they're even scared to work under London.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so similar to what they found in DC, it'll probably be like that.
Maybe
I
worse,
mean,
huh?
maybe they already went in London, and it looked like you could get to a lot of these tunnels through old dwellings
Mm-hmm.
in London, and you certain buildings with certain pointers on them and you'd have to know what you were looking for, and you
Yeah.
could actually access them through these buildings. It was fascinating.
Interesting. Yeah.
And northern Alberta, like where I'm from, looks like it was really bad, but they were largely clearing it out. I think it's going to take a couple of years,
Yeah.
still. But let's have a look and see what we get.
Okay.
And they've been at it for a while.
I think they've been at it before 2017, honestly.
Yeah, they've been at it for a while is what I got. So they've had some setbacks and disappointments, but not horribly, but it's been super hard work. And this card might even indicate they've been at it for 10 years because there's a 10 in it. So they've been working super hard at that.
Yeah.
World. Yeah, they thought they'd be done by now, but they're not, because it was way worse than they thought. Oh, things will speed up when everybody knows what's going on. It actually speeds things up. They're actually going to have a whole bunch of volunteers.
Awesome.
And people coming forward wanting to help. So this is from the general population. So that'll actually speed things up. I also get a lot of people will want to donate and support in whatever way they can. If not literally, they're going to want to donate like energetically or with the healing of the people on the other end. They're going to get a lot of support, like a world response. So I'm thinking they need to start filling everybody, all the normies in on this pretty quick here.
Well, I really thought that's what the ship was going to do, the first time, but I should have stopped myself and said, hey, how is the rest of this movie went? Nothing happens when you think it's going to happen. It's going to happen when God says it happens.
Yeah. Well, I got a little bit of intel, and I won't say exactly how I got it, but it's very trustworthy according to me. And I don't get stuff like this very often, but I got some good intel that the 23rd night, so that's next Friday, to 10 days from there, that could be that 10 days of darkness officially, finally.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that doesn't have double meanings, of course, but
yeah.
We'll take one of them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll take it.
just bring it on, because something really tangible needs to happen.
So it really does.
Point to it and say, okay, that is because of this, and this. And we saw that coming. So now you better listen to us. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it will give people like you and I some credibility, and all these other people out there fighting this. We know what we know, but it's not our job to prove things to people. So they need to learn themselves, of course.
Yeah. But not everybody's capable of doing the kind of, and even like being as open-minded. I swear that takes lifetimes of work. Like, you have to be a certain evolution of a soul.
I guess you're right.
You really do.
Intuition comes to me, and I don't consider myself a psychic, but I can usually tell when something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, the 12 cities, I think it's going to be more than 12 cities personally during this uproar.
Yeah.
We can either do that. We can do that if you want on what's happening with the riot stuff, or I was going to have you do one on the sun, because everybody thinks it's a ball of gas, and I don't think it's a ball of gas. And I've had other people that says it's definitely not a ball of gas like we think it is on the sun.
What do you think of this dual sun? Because I literally saw it with my own eyes that there's two suns.
I seen it too. And people don't understand. So
one's peeking out from under the other one, and it feels, and sometimes it drops down. It's like showing itself, and it feels like this is going to sound nuts, but when I look at the sun now, and I can feel the other one, it feels like it's way brighter than it should be for the time of year where I am. And we're really bright here anyway. We have a really great amount of sunshine. We're like almost, I think we're known as Canada's sunshine capital, even though we can get really cold in the winter here in Calgary. But I'm telling you, there's something going on with the sun.
Well, in Janine 𝐔𝐿𝐃, you know who Gene is. He's very credible as well.
Yeah.
Him and his wife were at a mountain. I don't want to say it wrong, but they were on a mountain climbing. And when they come over that mountain, there was what you just said as well, two suns, and they took a picture of it. And everybody thinks the photo's fake. It's not fake.
So I saw the photo, and then I, just put it in the back of my mind. And about 3 weeks later, I saw the exact same visual. And I took a photo, but I used my iPhone, which did not capture what I was seeing.
Huh.
And I was like, okay, because it was so bright to take a photo of anyway, but it just didn't really capture it. But I'm telling you, I saw exactly what they showed in that picture, the exact same thing.
Huh. Well, maybe we can do one on the sun then. And do we want to know what the two suns are, or how do we?
Let's just see what the universe wants to say about it.
Sure.
What would it like to share with everybody watching?
Sure.
About anything we can get around it.
Because there's a lady named Gina. She tracks these down in space through the different softwares and on Earth about the spaceships cloaking themselves in the clouds and all this good stuff. Yeah. She actually has video of them flying into the sun in certain spots. And that's why I said, if it's a ball of gas, you're not going to fly no ship into it.
Yeah.
Is it a portal? I don't know. I don't know.
Wands, the 5. Whatever it is, I feel like something's about to expire around it. So it's ran its course, and it's an energy source, but it's ran its course. I almost feel like it's whatever was fueling it, right? Because this could be spiritual energy, this card, but it's almost ready to expire. Now, has anyone ever said that?
No,
Okay,
not that I
interesting.
know of.
But the one, okay, so now another 10. So when it does, there's one even better quality, because if this represents the sun, because we're asking about the sun, this card is, because we're all talking one, so it's very highly spiritual. This card's known to be famous, effervescent, full of integrity. I almost feel like a better quality mechanism. So whatever the sun is, it's providing some kind of energy that's life force energy to the earth. Okay, that part looks true, because these are quite, these aren't mechanical cards. That's something born of sort of spirituality. Wands are spirit energy and energy that comes from nature.
Wow.
But
Interesting.
and all of the cards are wands so far, important in important places in the reading. But this card is what the sun, what happens after it expires, I said. So that other one must be ready to replace it. It's time to recreate itself into this even a better, like this is a better version maybe.
Yeah, that makes really good sense with everything that we know as far as our energy on our earth and the awakening, and all of that kind of falls together, in my opinion.
Wow.
So we always knew that earth got some energies and not just energies that you see.
So I said, describe the new sun, like the new version of it. Well, this is an amazing card. It's going to be better. I feel like it'll have healing energy. It'll help people spiritually evolve and move up, sort of their spiritual, evolve into their spiritual height, or as far as they can go spiritually quicker. I feel like it'd be to our human advantage.
So the old one, you just think it's going to expire and disappear more or less, huh?
It feels like with those two. So there's a 9 and a 10 around it. Let me find that. There. 9 is something almost done energetically. So it's in its like the 11th hour. And then this card came after, which this one is like an expired. Now it's done. So it goes from 9 to 10. Tarot, when I teach the lessons, these are the last two of the wands. So we go from 9, which is the 11th hour, to 10. Now we're done. So it may even literally expire. I mean, maybe not this year or anything, but in the coming years. I think it's done its work, and this new one's going to replace it. Like, it's going to be better.
And the new one or the old one didn't show nothing mechanical.
No.
So it looks like it's
not
spiritually made, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, it comes from spirit world.
That's very interesting.
I'm getting, it was given to us, and it helps create life, because this is a
Like a
birth
gift.
sign. Yeah, a gift, exactly. That's a spiritual gift. See how that hand comes from heaven, sort of? That's a spiritual gift card.
Wow. Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
And it helped birth, so the human race.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's a birthing card.
We don't know, but the only thing we really know is it's in process. We definitely know something's in process with them.
Yeah. So we're shifting from one reality to another on so many levels. That's what I'm picking up.
Well, yeah, and people keep thinking that there's two Earths, and the third dimensional people are going to be here, and the fifth are here. I don't know about all that. I really don't. It's possible. I never say anything's not possible, right?
I don't know if that's physical. This feels everything I'm looking at feels more,
Spiritual.
it'll be how your mind sees it. You're going to create it. It's like the Matrix, right?
Your
We're
perception
going to,
is, yeah,
right? Your belief creates your reality anyway.
that's
So
a
some
fact.
people might stay in an old reality and other people evolve past it. And it might get harder and harder to have anything to do with that old reality.
I think we're finding that out. I really do.
Yeah, I'm definitely finding that I can't be around certain people's energy.
Oh, it's horrible.
I had to let almost everybody I knew go.
What a shame, right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily because of their response to, after all my years of being the go-to person that gave them all the good advice, got them out of all the bad relationships, got them on the right track, blah, blah, blah. And they dropped me like a hot potato because I'm onto this and they
They
don't
think
see it.
they think you're crazy, right?
Right? So you'd think maybe they'd look back at my pattern and
Right.
see that I've been actually right about almost everything my whole damn life.
And
So,
yeah, things do change though. People have to really keep that in mind.
yeah,
That's why I don't give dates, even if I feel something's going to happen tomorrow. I don't
yeah,
give dates.
yeah. It's just not a good idea. Yeah.
But some of the stuff, it's a good idea to give people some ideals. But when is 45 going to be like it was? I don't think it's going to
Yeah.
be ever like it was. I really don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things are going to be so much different.
Yeah. Everything's going to be totally different. We're going to have to start from scratch with what is a government.
Well, even one party, right? I don't see two parties
Yeah.
surviving. I don't see it.
Yeah. I think everything's just going to be leveled and let's restructure. And that'll be a lot of work, but it's also very exciting, really.
Yeah, it's very good for the world. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because, we just literally backed ourselves into a corner. It was going to be like we're an enslaved race, but then if we are an enslaved race, but we're awake and consciously aware of it, that would be so traumatic. Can you imagine?
Oh,
Because we were enslaved all those years, but we didn't even know it. Some people did. Some people knew
sure.
it, right? But not so many. And,
Yeah.
and then some of us just all woke up right around the lockdown time. Seems like a huge explosion of waking up. Anybody that was going to really wake up woke up then, really.
I think you're
And
right. Yeah.
yeah, so I feel like if it's really known, it would be impossible to live like that because that's too repressive. Also, they started getting way out of line with that. Now their big draconian stuff's coming down. It's like their agendas are gone on to high gear and all the stuff they're showing us that they were going to do to us.
Yeah.
Okay, no thanks.
Right. And even UFOs on Fox News,
Yeah.
they're starting to show that.
Oh,
I told one of my friends
yeah.
that's called a drip. I said they're
Yeah.
dripping, they're dripping. He said, "What's a
Yeah.
drip?" I'm
They're
like,
getting
"Oh,
you ready. They're getting you ready.
yes." Well, I appreciate it. I really do. I think this was great. I think there's some great information there,
Right
and
on, Dave.
I'll shoot you an email so we can schedule another one, even if it's a few weeks down the road. At least we'll be on the calendar, right?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and I
Okay.
really appreciate it.
Yep. Take care and keep holding the line, Dave.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you so much.
I will.
All right. All right. Bye.